Tonight, going under the microscope.
They're both here with counsel. One can anticipate that both of them will testify.
Why former Mayor Sam Cates may appear at an inquiry into the construction of the downtown police headquarters. Also tonight,
it's just not like it was anymore.
Why one First Nation is banning moose hunters from its ancestral land. Plus, the cost of convenience.
I use it a couple of times a month, honestly, maybe once or twice.
More and more Canadians are turning to food delivery apps, but at what cost?
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. There's a good chance Sam Cates and Phil Schiegel will take the stand at the inquiry into the scandal-ridden Winnipeg Police Headquarters project. Day one of the proceedings got underway today, and legal counsel for the inquiry said she expects the former mayor and city CAO to testify. The inquiry is broken up into 5 phases, including one dubbed the Money Trail. Standing by with all the details for us tonight is CTV's Jeff Keel. So, Jeff, what else is pointing to the likelihood of Cates and Schiegel testifying?
They each had lawyers present today asking to participate in a portion of the inquiry. The inquiry counsel says that's a good sign they will be taking the stand. Former Mayor Sam Cates and former City of Winnipeg CAO Phil Schiegel are expected to testify at the inquiry examining the downtown Winnipeg Police Headquarters project.
I am to consider the dealings of previously elected officials, including the mayor and senior employees of the City of Winnipeg, including the former CAO.
Day one of the proceedings got underway Wednesday, where Commissioner Garth Smorang outlined the 5 phases of the inquiry. Phase 1 will cover the redevelopment of the former Canada Post building, and Phase 2 will look at, quote, the money trail.
It will focus and examine the money spent by the city to complete the redevelopment project, including the amounts paid to the general contractor, Caspian Construction.
Lawyers representing Cates and Schiegel applied for standing for the redevelopment phase, meaning they would like to participate in that portion of the inquiry. The commissioner granted their requests. With that, Heather Leonoff, the legal counsel for the inquiry, said one can anticipate Cates and Schiegel will take the stand.
As you saw today, they both have counsel here today, and that is a good indication that both of them will be testifying.
The commissioner can call people to testify. The NDP government called the inquiry after the police headquarters project went tens of millions of dollars over budget. In court documents, RCMP alleged the city was the victim of a multi-million-dollar fraud. A civil court found Schiegel accepted a $327,000 bribe and ordered him to pay $1.1 million to the city. The city also settled 2 lawsuits it filed against Caspian Construction and others for $21.5 million. 30 witnesses are set to testify over 44 days at the inquiry, which has a budget of $2 million. The inquiry doesn't resume until February. Others also asked for and received standing, including Caspian Construction, as well as the city and the Winnipeg Police Service.
Jeff, what will the other 3 phases of this inquiry examine?
Phases 3, 4, and 5 between April and June next year will deal with the city's policies and practices, recommendations for change, and final submissions. The commissioner must complete his report by January 1st, 2027.
All right, thanks for this, Jeff. A First Nation in eastern Manitoba is banning moose hunters from entering its ancestral lands. And with the hunting season just days away, it's raising concerns for the outfitter industry. To explain, CTV's Danton Unger joins us now live. Danton, why is this First Nation taking this step?
Well, to protect the moose population, Marilee, and while the province says it is stable at this point, the community fears that it will become critical if hunting continues at the current rate.
Bloodvein First Nation says non-Indigenous moose hunters are not welcome on its ancestral lands this hunting season.
We have implemented a moose hunting ban in our traditional territories.
Last month, the First Nation set up this check stop south of the Bloodvein River, erecting these signs identifying the area's traditional hunting, fishing, and trapping territory for band members only. It comes amid concerns about the moose population, which community members say is declining. While the province says the population is stable, Bloodvein Chief Lisa Young says she wants to keep it that way.
We are concerned that the government of Manitoba has issued hundreds of moose tags this year without consulting with us. much less seeking our consent.
The province says it's issued 175 moose hunting tags this season for this highlighted region on the east side of Lake Winnipeg, which includes Bloodvein First Nation. With these tags, it estimates there will be a harvest of 41 moose.
You do not have the right to issue licenses to hunt in our ancestral lands and territories.
On Wednesday, the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs called on the province to stop issuing these tags in the area, but that has some concerned.
We're a $1 billion tourism industry for Manitoba.
Don Lamont with the Manitoba Lodges and Outfitters Association says the land around the First Nation is Crown land and says hunters should be allowed to hunt there.
The First Nations want to restrict non-Indigenous hunters on their treaty land. They can do that. That is not an issue. And we won't go near that.
Natural Resources and Indigenous Futures Minister Ian Bushy tells CTV News in a statement, "We understand the concerns being raised and the importance of ensuring that moose populations remain stable and sustainable. Our commitment is to continue working in partnership with Indigenous communities and hunters."
If we do not act, it is clear no one else will protect our rights.
Now, moose hunting season officially begins this upcoming Monday, September 15th, and we expect to hear more from the province at that time.
So, Danton, have any hunters been turned away at this check stop yet?
Yeah, well, Chief Young says a couple of non-Indigenous hunters were turned away on August 31st. She says they were coming to the area to scout for the moose hunting season.
All right, thanks for this, Danton. An update now to a story we first brought you last night. City police say no charges will be laid after a group of students were chased through a park during gym class. According to the Louis Riel School Division, the students from Collège Jean Sauvé were on a regular outing in Dakota Forest when someone came out of a tent and chased them. The individual did catch up with one student who received some injuries the division describes as scratches. A police spokesperson says following an investigation, it determined there is insufficient grounds to charge the person. Motorists traveling between Winnipeg and Carman, take note, a bridge on Highway 3 is closed. The province has closed the bridge over the Morris River just south of Brunkild. It says the structure is unstable and needs to be replaced, and adds the emergency closure is necessary to ensure safety for motorists. Traffic is being directed to highways 13 and 2. No word on how long the closure will remain in effect. A 3-vehicle crash sent 3 people to hospital this morning. It happened on Lagimodière Boulevard and the South Perimeter Highway and left one of the vehicles flipped onto its roof. The crash closed westbound lanes to traffic for about 3 hours. The 3 people involved are all reported to be in stable condition. After 2 months away from their homes, residents of a northern Manitoba town will be allowed to go home this week. The town of Leaf Rapids is lifting its wildfire evacuation order Friday morning at 7 a.m. The community of roughly 350 were ordered to leave July 8th after a fire jumped the Churchill River and entered the town. It resulted in the loss of 1 home and several abandoned buildings. As the old saying goes, slow and steady wins the race. It, of course, comes from the fable, The Tortoise and the Hare. Just like that, one of its title characters, CTV caught up with a turtle trolling a Winnipeg street that is as slow as he is big. CTV photojournalist Dan Timmerman captured this titanic turtle going for a slow but steady stroll in the Niagara Place neighborhood Tuesday night. Residents gathered around to relish as the reptile waddled by and into the sunset. Looks like he was headed for that pond to cool off from this early September heat. Heat, it sure was. Daniel Halmerson joins us now with the first look at your forecast, and it was warm out there today. How hot did we get?
About 27 degrees, just about what we saw last year as well. These are well above seasonal normals, which is around 19 this time of year, and that turtle taking full advantage of a beautiful evening last night. Much the same here tonight. We will see mainly clear skies as we move into Thursday, but there's some rain and the risk of some thunderstorms developing tomorrow evening. I'll have full details coming up. Look outside right now, mainly clear skies, 26 degrees, still wind out of the south at 18 kilometers per hour. The pressure is dropping and the humidity sitting at 41%.
The Bathfitter Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
How often do you order out on a delivery app when you don't feel like cooking at home? A new study tonight is finding Canadians are choosing to cook less and order meals via apps like DoorDash and Uber Eats more than ever before. CTV's Joseph Bernacki examines why more people are opting for meal deliveries at home.
Marcus Marquez enjoys ordering meals to go on dining apps at all hours of the day.
Honestly, it depends on what's open, especially late at night. Like I usually order around midnight or around early like 1 a.m. something like that.
Marquez says on average he uses meal app delivery services twice a month, but sometimes more often. And he's not alone. A new study from the Agri-Food Analytics Lab at Dalhousie University finds more Canadians are ordering their meals to go right from home.
This is absolutely a lot of people's new kitchen right there.
Food expert Sylvain Charlebois recently led a research study surveying more than 3,000 people about their use of dining apps like Uber Eats and DoorDash. The study compared data collected in 2020 to new data gathered this summer. Charlebois says it shows more people are opting for online meal deliveries.
Back in 2020, just a few weeks before COVID, 1 in 5 Canadians were actually using food delivery apps on a regular basis. Now it's 1 in 4.
According to the survey, Manitoba ranks 4th in the country at 25.6%. Charlebois says more people are looking for convenience at the cost of skills learned while cooking.
They're looking to buy time, essentially. And the other issue, of course, is food literacy. A lot of people just either can't cook or don't want to cook at all.
Hearing less people are cooking is a big concern for nutritionist Andrea Cates.
When we just order things blindly and we're not looking at the ingredients list and we're not looking at the nutrition elements of that food, we're sort of leaving it up to chance with how that's going to make us feel.
Despite using food apps regularly, Marquez says he still makes time to get food the old-fashioned way.
I cook a lot. Yeah, like a couple days. I made breakfast today. Yeah, I do it a lot.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
A city councillor is hoping to mend fences between some community outreach groups after the city's controversial decision to provide funding to only one of them. St. Vital councillor Brian Mays has put forward a motion which aims to get the city, St. Boniface Street Links and Main Street project all at the same table and chart a path forward where both groups can continue their work without stepping on each other's toes. Mays says it's unlikely to pass next week's Executive Policy Committee meeting, but he hopes it will start a conversation.
Marion Willis and company have got a pretty good track record with street links. Certainly been serving in my ward, and they're saying, look, we can actually do this without even taking money from the city. So my sense was, well, why not let them keep doing their thing, and then that'll save us some money in the east side, and we can put more money into with Main Street project elsewhere in the city.
All this comes after Main Street project was awarded the contract to provide outreach services to people experiencing homelessness citywide. The annual funding was previously split between 3 different groups. Well, it's going to take longer than expected to replace a sewer line in Fort Garry that was the site of a massive spill a year and a half ago. This was the scene back in February 2024 after 2 pipes under the Fort Garry Bridge failed, ultimately spewing more than 200 million liters of raw sewage into the river. A replacement line was originally expected to be completed this fall, but it's been pushed back to June of next year. Since much of the work can't be done in the winter, a city report says an emergency bypass system continues to operate without any issues. The Manitoba Museum has returned 19 artifacts to a First Nation in Saskatchewan. The repatriation of the Piapot First Nation is the largest in the museum's history. Artifacts include ceremonial pipes, a drum, an eagle fan, medicine pouches, as well as gifts the chief gave as thanks to the minister who conducted his daughter's marriage ceremony. As a thank you, the First Nation invited museum representatives to attend a repatriation ceremony. The museum says repatriation is an important institutional responsibility.
We are really honored to do this work, and we were really honored to be invited out to the celebration. It is a proud moment for museums to really take stock of what we're doing here and to really look at what speaks to our collections and what belongings really do rightfully need to go home.
The museum's repatriation policy began in 2007 following the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's call to action and the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. Still ahead tonight, prominent Trump supporter and conservative activist Charlie Kirk has been shot and killed at an event at a Utah university.
It was pretty traumatizing, pretty terrible.
What we know about the shocking act of violence that happened in front of hundreds of people and the hunt for the shooter. Taking a look at the markets now, crude oil added $1. The Canadian dollar is down 1/10 cent. Gold lost 20 cents an ounce. The TSX gained 116 points. The Dow Jones fell 220 points, while the Nasdaq was up about 6.5 points. A woman is facing charges after RCMP say a large quantity of drugs were seized at a northern airport. In total, Mounties say 250 grams of suspected crack, 24 grams of cocaine and 200 pills were seized at the Oxford House Airport Sunday night from an inbound flight from Winnipeg. A passenger was detained by First Nations safety officers and turned over to RCMP. A 37-year-old woman from Bunny Bonnie Bee Cree Nation is in custody facing drug trafficking charges. Conservative political activist Charlie Kirk has been shot and killed during an event today in Utah. It happened on the campus of Utah Valley University, according to authorities. Rena Roy is following this breaking story.
Conservative activist Charlie Kirk dead at 31 years old after authorities say he was shot while speaking at Utah Valley University this afternoon. Video shows the moments before Kirk was shot. We're pausing it before the gunfire.
Just one shot straight into Charlie Kirk.
And I watched a fountain of blood come out of the side of his neck like a water fountain.
Panic and chaos in the crowd as people ran for cover.
Anyone could just walk in. It was at probably the worst place in campus because there's so many areas where anyone can just walk in.
Witnesses say Kirk was talking about gun violence when he was shot.
Everyone got down. Everyone was so scared.
Kirk is a massive voice in the conservative movement as the founder and CEO of Turning Point USA, an influential conservative youth organization. He's often sparked heated debates on college campuses across the country. His rhetoric has often been closely aligned with President Trump.
I had a brief conversation with the president over the phone. He sounded quite upset, quite down about this. He told me it's horrific. It's one of the most horrific things I've ever seen.
Both the ATF and FBI are responding. The FBI saying they're closely monitoring the situation and that agents are on the ground there. Politicians on both sides of the aisle denouncing politically motivated violence.
This is detestable, what's happened. Political violence has become all too common in American society, and this is not who we are.
Multiple senior sources inside the West Wing saying they are in shock and disbelief. Sources also tell ABC News the president has postponed a dinner he had planned for this evening. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
And just a short time ago, FBI Director Kash Patel made this post on social media saying the suspected shooter has been taken into custody. He goes on to thank local and state authorities and says more details will be provided when possible. RCMP in Saskatchewan have issued a dangerous person alert for a First Nation community in the province's interior. The alert was issued for Big River First Nation and the surrounding area. The community is roughly 375 kilometers west of the Paw and 180 kilometers north of Saskatoon. Mounties say there is a suspect with a gun wearing a black Vegas night hoodie and white pants. Anyone in the area is advised to stay inside and not broadcast police locations. Canada is promising to stand with Poland after a serious escalation in Eastern Europe. Russian drones were shot down after entering Polish airspace. Poland is a key member of NATO, and its government is saying a line has been crossed. Russia has dramatically increased its deadly drone attacks on neighboring Ukraine in recent months. CTV's Mike Couture has more on the incident and the response.
Poland's prime minister said today his country is the closest it has been to open conflict since the Second World War.
Residents of an eastern Poland village describe hearing the roar of a plane falling from the sky, and then a massive boom shook their home. The house was destroyed, he said. The remnants of a suspected Russian drone remain in his yard as Polish authorities search several other sites where drones were found. Moscow claims there were no plans to target Poland. Many of them were shot down with the help of NATO allies, and talks between member countries were quickly called under an Article 4 consultation.
Ale to oczywiście też zmienia sytuację.
Prime Minister Donald Tusk praised the quick response of allies, but pointed out this changes the political situation. In a post on social media, U.S. President Donald Trump said, "What's with Russia violating Poland's airspace with drones? Here we go." After a NATO meeting, the Secretary General said a full assessment of the incident is ongoing.
Allies expressed solidarity with Poland and denounced Russia's reckless behavior.
While rallying support for Poland in the European Parliament, Ursula von der Leyen told lawmakers the EU is now working on a 19th package of sanctions against Russia.
We're particularly looking at phasing out Russian fossil fuels faster. We're looking at the shadow fleet and at third countries.
Russia's defense ministry says it had not targeted Poland, but Prime Minister Tusk says there were 19 breaches of Polish airspace. And Canada's defense minister is casting doubt on the Kremlin's explanation.
I don't think we can take a lot of what comes from Russia right now at face value.
Now, McGuinty wouldn't say if Canada will deploy more resources to the region, but Germany's foreign minister said NATO stands united and there must be a response to Russia's actions. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
We learned more today about the big targets the Prime Minister is hoping to deliver as questions remain about how Mark Carney will pay for the promises. He's saying the upcoming federal budget will focus on cutting spending with new investment in key areas. All this as Carney tries to distance himself from Justin Trudeau and bolster Western relations. CTV's Abigail Beeman has more from the Liberal retreat.
Politics is like hockey. It doesn't build character, it reveals it.
More than a few hockey references in the Prime Minister's speech to caucus about fall priorities delivered in his hometown. Mark Carney referenced a budget with tough decisions. There are big questions about how he'll pay for big investments while spending less and which Trudeau government commitments he'll keep.
This fall, we will release a new climate competitiveness strategy that focuses on results over objectives and investments over prohibitions. Third, we will remain relentlessly focused on bringing down costs for Canadians.
Backsliding on our commitments around climate, if you read values, it'll be a very odd thing for us to do.
Carney said the first major projects list will be announced tomorrow. Radio-Canada is reporting no pipelines will be on it.
No one should take any lesson from the first list of projects that this is the end.
What the Liberals need to do in order to actually allow major projects to move forward is repeal C-69, repeal C-48, lift the production cap, remove the policies that they put in place that block these projects from moving forward.
Those signs point to a thawing of relations between Ottawa and Western Canada, strained in the Trudeau years.
I think there's even a thawing of tone in Danielle Smith, but she's still making a number of demands that frankly can't all be met.
The Prime Minister ends his day meeting with Premier Smith here in Alberta's capital. The pro-pipeline Premier has said she'll be pushing for action on what she calls 9 bad laws hurting the province's economy. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Edmonton.
A judge has ruled the suspect in the Vancouver Lapu Lapu Day Festival attack is mentally fit to stand trial. Adam Kaiji Low also faces 31 more charges, all for attempted murder. He was already being charged with 11 counts of second-degree murder. Low was accused of intentionally driving a vehicle through a crowd at this year's festival. 11 people were killed and dozens more hurt. No date has been set for his next court appearance. There were protests in the streets of Yemen today denouncing Israel's attack yesterday on Qatar. Israel said it was targeting Hamas officials. The protesters were mainly students. Meanwhile, the Houthis in Yemen have been stepping up air attacks on Israel in recent months. They hit Israel's southern airport last week with a drone in response to the death of the Houthi prime minister in an Israeli airstrike. Palestinians continue to evacuate Gaza City today in anticipation of a major new Israeli offensive. Families are heading out of the city along a coastal road. Israel had told people to leave Gaza City, warning it would step up attacks if Hamas doesn't release the remaining hostages. And soldiers and police fanned out across Nepal today, trying to restore order after days of deadly protests. The streets of Kathmandu were calm today, in stark contrast to the violent demonstrations from the last several days. At least 20 people were killed. The protests were sparked by a social media ban announced last week. It's one of the strongest pieces of evidence to date about the possibility Mars once harbored life. A rock sample collected from a dry river channel by NASA's rover last summer contains potential signs of ancient microscopic life. The rock is believed to have formed more than 3 billion years ago. The space agency examined the data for a year and couldn't find another explanation. But the minerals spotted in the sample can also form through non-biological processes. Scientists stress in-depth analysis is needed before reaching any conclusions.
They told me that I would be the first, not only the first woman, but the first person in Manitoba.
Another leap forward in the fight against cancer, how the new treatment is offering hope for patients here in Manitoba.
And while the temperatures will remain in the mid-20s, plenty of clouds and rainfall on the way. I'll have your complete Skywatch forecast coming up.
Doctors at Cancer Care Manitoba have a new tool in their arsenal. It's called CAR T-cell therapy, and one Manitoba patient calls it magical. And this month's More Tomorrows Together, CTV's John Hendricks shows you what the procedure is and how it was made available for patients right here in our province.
It's just amazing.
Sandra Hodglow fought cancer a decade ago and beat it. But when it recently returned, in the form of a grapefruit-sized tumor, it looked like the lymphoma had the upper hand.
I underwent, I think it was 6 sessions of chemotherapy, and when I had an appointment to see my oncologist, my hopes were kind of dashed.
The chemo had not shrunk her tumor significantly. Luckily, her doctors at Cancer Care Manitoba had another option for her, a treatment that had never been done in this province before.
They told me that I would be the first, not only the first woman, but the first person in Manitoba to be receiving local treatment here.
The treatment she's talking about is CAR T-cell therapy.
It's a very targeted type of therapy that uses the body's immune system to destroy the cancer.
Doctors extract the patient's own T-cells and modify them in a lab so they can recognize the specific cancer the patient is battling. Then they're infused back into the patient to attack and destroy the cancer. For years, Manitoba patients had to go out of province for this innovative treatment.
It was really challenging, actually, to be able to bring CAR T-cell therapy to Manitoba. Because it's a living drug, there was a lot of processes that we'd never had to do before to get a product like this into patients.
But thanks to support from the province and the Cancer Care Manitoba Foundation, patients like Sandra Hodglow now have access to it. And the results are nothing short of astounding.
It was magical. It just blew my mind how quickly and effectively it worked.
And this is why donor-supportive research, local research happening here, is so important, because it enables advancements like this.
Currently, Cancer Care Manitoba is able to treat between 10 to 20 patients a year with CAR T-cell therapy, numbers officials hope to increase significantly in the coming years so they can help even more patients like Sandra. John Hendricks, CTV News, Winnipeg.
More Tomorrows Together is brought to you by Cancer Care Manitoba Foundation. CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
All right, Daniel Hammerson back now with your complete Skywatch forecast. Summer returned with a vengeance today. Yeah, pretty warm out there still tonight.
Right, it's beautiful. But with that warm summer weather does come that risk of thunderstorms, as we saw over the last few months. Now those beautiful sunny skies will give way to some clouds. But tonight, mainly clear here throughout much of Manitoba. But as we move into Thursday, keep an eye on the screen there, just over the border in Saskatchewan, a system moving through. This is thanks to all this warm air coming up from the south. And early tomorrow morning, it will hit western Manitoba. And by mid-afternoon, move into the capital region as well, bringing the chance of rain and the risk of thunderstorms. Now, Environment and Climate Change Canada says non-severe at this time, but always worth keeping an eye on as we move into Thursday evening, pushing into Ontario. But right behind it is Going to move out of the way here. Yet another system rolling through the prairies. Now that's going to come through on Friday. Right now, chance of some showers. Not necessarily a risk of thunderstorms, but again, something to keep an eye on as we move into the weekend. Friday, yes, plenty of cloud on the way, but tonight, mainly clear skies. Wind out of the south at 20 kilometers per hour, dropping down to 14 degrees. We could see a little bit of fog overnight as well. Tomorrow morning, 16, increasing cloud as we move through the morning. That wind still out of the south at 20 kilometers. Then when the wind's picking up, high of 25 in the afternoon. Winds 30, gusting up to 50, and that risk of thunderstorms, as you just saw on the satellite there. And as we move into the rest of the province tonight, take a look up north in Churchill, dipping down to 13 tonight and cloudy, maybe a few rain showers there, 20 degrees tomorrow. Similar throughout the rest of the region, partly cloudy skies. In the northwest, down to 10 in Lynn Lake tonight, up to 22 tomorrow. Over in the Paw, high of 26 tomorrow, under mainly sunny skies. To our west, out in Brandon and the surrounding area, 12 tonight, but nice start to it. But those thunderstorms are going to make its way through the region as well here in the capital region. Similar temperatures throughout tonight and tomorrow, but that risk of thunderstorms. And as we move over the border into Ontario, take a look at that. Fort Frances down to 11 tonight, similar in Dryden, but 24 and plenty of sunshine. They could see those thunderstorms a little later tomorrow evening as well. And our first Skywatch pick of the day, we saw the turtle earlier. Well, here's all his friends out at West Hawk Lake. Thanks to Trevor for sending that one in. And our second beautiful shot of the Northern Lights from Jolene up in Oxford House. Keep those Skywatch picks coming. Send them in to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Danny. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are heading to Hamilton to try and break a 2-game losing skid against the Tiger Cats.
Pressure coming in.
At Saturday's Banjo Bowl, Bombers starting quarterback Zach Caleros was injured. It was the Bombers' second loss in a row to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The losses allowed the Riders to take a solid lead at the top of the CFL's West Division. Winnipeg still sits in third. Head coach Mike O'Shea avoided specifics when asked about Caleros' condition at a news conference today.
Is Zach going to play again this year?
Yeah, I assume so.
The Bombers versus Ticats is set to kick off Friday evening in Hamilton at 6 o'clock.
They're trying to really avoid those emotions.
Still to come, they're both legal, but when mixed can become a problem. What a new study reveals about combining alcohol and cannabis. Today is World Suicide Prevention Day, and to mark the occasion, a Just In Case campaign is being launched. It encourages you to save and share the number 988, just in case you or someone you know needs support. 988 is the suicide crisis helpline, and joining me now to talk more about it is Allison Crawford, the Chief Medical Officer at 988. Allison, good to speak with you.
You too. Thanks for having me.
You know, I know it's been almost 2 years now since the helpline launched. I'm curious, how many Canadians are accessing it?
Yeah, so it'll be 2 years in November, and we've already seen almost 600,000 call and text interactions since we launched. And that's people from right across the country, every province and territory.
Definitely a service that was needed by the signs of those statistics.
Yeah.
Regardless of the supports and services available, though, every day in Canada, on average, we see 12 people die by suicide, 200 attempt it, which is why this year you really want people to know 988 is for everyone and not just in times of crisis. Can you explain?
Well, it's a number we want everyone to know, every single person living in Canada, because it is a service for all of us. And we really don't know when either we'll be in crisis and face that in our lives, or whether, it's to help someone else. So that's why we say, just in case, be aware of 988. Don't automatically think it's not for you. It's for everyone.
Let's talk about the helpline for those still not familiar with it. How does it work and what does it offer?
So you can call or text 988 from anywhere in Canada, and it is available 24/7 in English and French. And it's actually a really unique model because although it's operated by CAMH and funded by the Public Health Agency of Canada, we have partners across the country. So we have 37 partners that deliver the service, and that really allows us to still be very community-based and to keep close to what communities need and want from the service. So when you call or text, you're directed to a responder as close to home as possible.
As we mark Suicide Prevention Day today, what is your advice to those watching right now?
Well, I think that suicide prevention really is a collective effort. It has to be a whole of society effort, and that we all have a role to play. That is, just being aware, listening to people. I think the stigma around mental illness is fortunately declining, but I think we have to see it as something that we can all support. So just being there for each other. Social connection really saves lives, and 988 is one form of connection and listening, but we can all be part of that network.
988, know it, save it, and share it. That is the message today, and an important one. Allison, thanks so much for your time.
Wonderful. Thanks for having me.
There have been studies looking at the effects of cannabis on young brains and others looking at the effects of alcohol. Now a new study looks at the effects of the two together for young people with legal access to both. CTV's Pauline Chan has the details.
Studies looking at alcohol use with marijuana have been done before, but mostly in the U.S. when cannabis was illegal. But the study by Jeffrey Wardell looks at Canada after marijuana was legalized.
We were going to do it in a legal environment to see, what did this look like? What does this look like now that young people can access it?
Recent figures show 50% of Canadians aged 19 to 25 use marijuana to some degree, and Wardell's study focused on the motivations behind using pot and alcohol, particularly together.
And we know that when you use two drugs together, they can have interactions. And so we were interested in understanding that.
In a new technique, the 150 participants used an app during 3 periods over the course of a year to accurately record when and how they used the two substances. They found that young people tended to use both substances during times of stress or negative emotions.
The reason they give is because it gives them a more intense high. They're trying to really avoid those emotions, and combining the two drugs produces more intense subjective effects.
But in doing that, Wardell says there was also a higher risk of other health dangers.
A greater risk for dependence or substance use disorder developing over time if you combine drugs, as well as other mental health outcomes. So being at greater risk for worsening depression, worsening anxiety.
Wardell has advice at a time when young people are beginning the college term or undergoing other stressful new situations.
Just be mindful that this isn't probably a good strategy, that even though maybe in the immediate term using cannabis and alcohol or combining the two especially might make you feel better.
He says employ good judgment in your substance use and seek other ways like exercise or talking to others to alleviate stress. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manuke and Koster Denture Clinic.
Don't go away. We've got several upcoming concerts to tell you about, including from Canadian rockers Econoline Crush. Plus, move over Hollywood. Your chance to take in the best in African film is right around the corner. Spotlight is next.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Led Zepp again, the premier tribute.
A local live music venue is celebrating a milestone. The Park Theatre has been entertaining Winnipeggers for 20 years. The park is a hotspot for all kinds of entertainment, comedy, music, you name it. In 2021, the owner knocked down walls and stripped out the seats to create a barrier-free place to catch a show. Today, bands that are popular enough to play larger venues often choose to play the park instead because it's such a great room.
So a lot of these bands that play our room, they need an 800 cap, 1,000 cap room. So instead they'll just do 2 nights with us instead of 1 night at, say, the Burt or a different room. But it's something about our rooms.
The Park Theatre is celebrating with a jam-packed lineup this month and a special anniversary show on September 19th featuring JP Ho. Check out myparktheatre.com. And a Canadian rock band popular in the 90s is making a comeback. Econoline Crush is coming out with a new single and Canadian tour. For 3 decades, Econoline Crush has been a uniquely Canadian voice in the industrial rock genre. The band is releasing a new single, New Gold Magic, on September 26th, along with a Canadian tour that'll bring the band to the Park Theatre on November 17th. Tickets are available now at myparktheatre.com. And the Best in African Film will be on full display here in Winnipeg next week.
If you want to believe that some type of mythical beast is somehow connected to these crimes, then go ahead. There's a killer out there, and he's a man.
That's a trailer for Sabata the Beast, one of more than 20 films you can expect to see at this year's African Movie Festival in Manitoba. It represents cinematic work of studios or directors from across the African continent and range from horror and comedy to documentaries and short films. And that's not all.
We have Manitoba Gaze, which is a festival within a festival, specifically targeted at Manitoba creatives. So we will be screening about 23, 24 films at Manitoba Gaze from local young filmmakers.
The festival runs September 15th to the 21st at the Winnipeg Art Gallery. You can head to the WAG's website or am-fm.ca for more information and tickets. And get ready for an afternoon of family fun when a beloved local entertainer takes the stage in Winnipeg this winter.
The cat came back the very next day, the cat.
That's right, Fred Penner and the Cats Meow Band will return to delight adults and children alike at the Burton Cummings Theatre December 14th. Tickets for Fred Penner's Concert of the Season go on sale Friday through Ticketmaster, and that's not the only holiday show to tell you about.
I used to think that's what I was, but now this lying hurts too much.
Acclaimed Canadian artist Serena Ryder is on her Merry Myths tour. Her show is inspired by folklore and holiday traditions from around the world and blends holiday classics with Ryder's soulful originals. The Juno Award winner takes the stage at the Club Region Event Center on December 4th. Tickets go on sale Friday. Visit serenaryder.com. And here's your primetime lineup for tonight. Food is the focus early on with the Master Chef at 7 and Gordon Ramsay's Secret Service at 8. Then at 9, shift into comedy with back-to-back episodes of Shifting Gears. And at 10, Martin Short hosts Match Game.
Action, guys. Camera the movie.
A Manitoba feline goes Hollywood. How the blind cat landed a role in The Long Walk.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
26 degrees right now outside in Winnipeg. Wind out of the south at 18 kilometers per hour. Beautiful evening ahead as well. So enjoy it while it lasts, folks, because the rain is on its way. We did hit 27 today. Pretty much smack dab with last year's 27.6, both well above seasonal norms, but still below that high back in 1998. As we take a look at the long range, mix of some clouds and rain over the coming days, but those temperatures remaining above seasonal.
Thanks, Danny. Anticipation is building for a new movie called The Long Walk, which hits theaters Friday. The movie was shot right here in Manitoba, and a local cat has a role in the film.
It took me a while to realize the truth of this.
That eyeless cat you just saw in the trailer is named Dory and is a rescue from Steinbach. A friend of Dory's owner trains animals for movies and knew the production was looking for a cat with either one eye or no eyes for a scene. So, since Dory was born without any eyes, they knew she was perfect for the role.
We were actually only on set for one full day, and she did like literally everything that they asked her to do. It was, oh, not that they asked her, but like, yeah, she did everything that they needed her to do, and they were actually shocked that she was so awesome. Granted, her role was just sitting on a mailbox, but most cats wouldn't just sit there idly. And
it's not easy to get cats to do things they don't necessarily want to do. So good job, Dory. Neufeld says Dory was treated very well by the crew. She was given shade when she wasn't needed on set, and the cast and crew took time to pet her and pose for photos. You can see how it all turns out when The Long Walk opens in theaters Friday.
What a great gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was already kind of interested in wanting to see this movie because it was shot here, but Dory sealed the deal for me. I'll be going to watch it. Good job, Dory. All right, that does it for us tonight. Have a great evening.